Hey everybody, how's it going? Ben here from the Beard Guys, bringing you all the information and gameplay footage of all the features in update 16.2 for PUBG. The patch notes have been released, the update is available on the test server for PC now, and I've been playing it this morning, getting some footage of all the different things included in the update, including the new tactical gear, the aim and sound training modes added to training rooms, and checking out the Survivor Pass and Haven gameplay. Today I'm going to run through the patch notes and show you some gameplay footage along with all of it to demonstrate what we can expect to see in this update. The release schedule is as expected from the leak last week. We are going to see this go live onto PC on March the 16th, next Wednesday, and then on console the following Thursday on March 24th. One of the main features of the new update is the addition of 2 new pieces of tactical gear to go alongside the EMT and the drone already added. 16.2 brings in the tactical pack, first of all, which goes in a primary weapon slot and has 4 slots within it in which you can put pretty much anything in the game. You can't put another tactical pack within it, so you can't just carry infinite amount of things, but you can put guns in it, you can put EMTs and other tactical gear in it, you could put a Panzerfaust, you can put ammo, you can put scopes, you can put armor, helmets, you name it, you can pretty much put it in there as long as it's not a tactical pack and not a vehicle. But if it's a bike, you can actually put a mountain bike in there. In fact, if you wanted, you could put 4 in there. It's going to be available on all maps in normal matches, but not available in ranked mode, thankfully. It also can't be stored in the trunk of a Porter on Tego to stop just, I guess, multi-layered storage of just tons of items. Weapons stored within it will keep their attachments, and from playing around with it on the test server this morning, it felt like it's going to be incredibly powerful, particularly on PC, where it's very, very quick and easy to switch things in and out of it using a mouse. You can basically carry a gun plus this and then other guns within it, and in the same speed it takes you to switch a scope on PC, which, as most people know, is incredibly rapid. You can switch out a weapon from your bag, so you could suddenly pull out a shotgun instead of your sniper rifle. You could suddenly pull out an EMT and med, and then you could switch that with a K9, and then you could switch that with a shotgun, and then you could switch that with an M4. So it feels very, very powerful. We'll have to see how it plays out in normal games, see how common it is, but it does feel like with the ease of use of removing and moving items in and out of it, that there's not really much justification for not taking it on PC. On console, I think it might be a slightly different because it's a little bit slower to move things around in your inventory when you're using a controller, so it might not be quite as popular, but I think it's still going to be very, very powerful. I think perhaps if it had some sort of delay animation where when you were pulling items out of it, you had to crouch and do an animation for a couple of seconds, I think that would make it more balanced. It would still be very powerful, I think, but if there was some kind of slowed down animation where you were taking things in and out of it, it would at least balance it somewhat. As it goes at the moment, there's literally no delay. You can just instantly flick things out of it as quick as you can move something in your inventory. So as well as the tactical pack, the other item added is the spotter scope. This, I was kind of surprised, takes up a primary slot as well, so it's a big sacrifice, and it is kind of cool, but you do have to sacrifice a weapon to do that. Although if you find a tac pack, you can stick it in there, and it's maybe not so much of an issue. It's got a rangefinder on it, so it will tell you how far away targets are with the 4x fixed zoom that it has, and it will also put a marker on enemies and enemy drones. First of all, a little white marker that only you can see, and then if you hold it on your target long enough, it will pop up with a red marker, and these active red markers will actually be shared with your teammates, and they will stay on the target as they move around for 7 seconds. So you could tag up multiple targets, put the binoculars away, and you would see those marked targets moving around for 7 seconds. Again, a very powerful item if used right, and particularly with the tac pack where someone can carry that with the binoculars in there and other items. That's going to make squad games very, very different, very dynamic, very tactical in terms of what people use. If you have someone in your squad with a tac pack, with binoculars in it, with an EMT in it, with a drone in it, and then with their secondary weapon, then you've basically got the ultimate team in terms of your extra utility available. Not to mention, you could have someone else with a tac pack carrying extra armor, extra meds. It's going to really change how squad games play out. You could also have someone sitting there just looking through binoculars, keeping people marked whilst your teammates shoot them, and have them basically permanently marked as long as they are visible. The person who marks the enemies will also also get an assist if the person marked gets killed by a teammate. So it does look like a pretty useful little bit of kit in the right situation. Moving on from that, they made a minor change to the drone where it's changed the lighting on it. It's now going to have green lights only for a friendly drone and red lights for an enemy drone. One of the coolest features, I think, in this update is the aim and sound lab that they've added to training rooms. They've actually overhauled the whole layout of the training room area, and you can now go up to the helipads and enter those, and it puts you into this aim and sound training lab. What these are two different modes. One where you can practice your aim. You can use whatever gun you want and shoot all these different targets in the space of a minute, and you get graded on the amount of kills, and you can see the damage from headshots and body shots on these human-shaped targets. As well as that, it's also got this sound training mode, which is really cool, where basically it just plays a sound like an M24 or whatever, and it has all these targets around you, and you have to spin around and figure out which target that audio is coming from, and then shoot it. And again, you get graded on your success on that, and that's going to be really useful for people maybe getting used to locating direction of targets. I hear about it all the time, particularly on console. People are always saying, how do you know where people are shooting from? And most of the time, it's just using your ears. So that's going to be handy, particularly maybe if you're going to play around with your audio settings, if you've got some new headphones, if you want to tweak your EQ or something and you want to see how that works, then the sound training I think is going to be pretty handy for you. The aim training I think is going to be great, particularly on console where aiming is even harder. You're using a controller with no aim assist, obviously. So I feel like that aim training is going to be really, really handy for people improving their skill at snapping to targets and moving between different targets as well. So definitely on board with that. Great addition, going to be really useful for new players and old players alike. I definitely want to have a go at that as I try and get a little bit better at FPP for ranked. The layout of the training rooms has changed a little bit. They've got rid of most of the guns you can pick up because you can just spawn them in yourself now. And there's also a few vehicles that will spawn. It's called the vehicle display area, and it's basically, I think, the 3 most recently added vehicles to the game will spawn there. So at the moment there's the quad, the DeLorean thing, and the Porter, I think. As well as that, there's this vehicle shooting area in the training room which you can go to where the old vehicles used to spawn, which is pretty cool. It has moving vehicle shaped targets that move quite fast, and it shows you points for shooting those, and it also shows you red points if you shoot them in the driver's seat. I also noticed that you can now parachute out to this oil rig in the ocean, which I'm pretty sure you couldn't before. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I noticed that was there, so me and some other guy parachuted over there. You can't seem to really do anything, but it's there and you can parachute out to it, so that's kind of cool, I guess. One other minor change is that you can now go into training mode if you've only completed basic training. So I think you can do that before doing any of your versus AI battles if you're very new to the game. Moving on from there, we know the map service plan was changing. We've got that as expected. We're going to have Erangel, Miramar, Tago, Karakin, and Haven all together in matchmaking. Sanok is gone for a little while where they do some work on it, and we've got Haven in instead. Ranked is staying the same with Erangel, Miramar, and Tago. As far as I'm aware, it's just going to be these 5 maps in a map pool together, which feels kind of crazy to me. I like playing Haven, but it's a 32-player map that lasts about 12 to 14 minutes, and that's going to be in a match pool with Erangel, Miramar, and Tago, which are 100-person and take 30 minutes plus. So I don't really see how that's going to work. There's going to be so many people backing out of Haven because they don't want to play a small map. It's just going to be people backing out of matchmaking all the time, and I think it's going to badly disrupt matchmaking. So they may well make an announcement and change something for the full release, but I wouldn't really expect that at this stage. If you want a bit more information on Haven, if you've not played it before, I'm going to do a video later this week where I talk through what some of the details of Haven are, what the helicopter thing is, what the weird truck with rocket launchers is, and the special AI bots that are unique to Haven. So check out the video later in the week if you're interested in seeing that. I'm also going to be streaming later this week, so if you want to talk to me on stream, ask me any questions about the upcoming update, then jump over to twitch.tv/thebeardguys on Wednesday, Friday, or even Saturday this week and ask me there. They've also made some changes to Karakin. I haven't really had a look at these yet, but they sound fairly minor. It's mostly around the Al Habar area, which was notoriously difficult for getting up that big steep hill. So they've made some changes there to make it a little bit easier to move around. They've also changed a bit of item spawning, and they've added some signs in some of the bunkers to help you escape if you get trapped underground. For Haven, it said bots acting like actual enemy players have been added. I'm not sure how different that is to bots on other maps, if they're meant to be more intelligent. I played a game on Haven. They didn't seem especially intelligent, but I guess the bots I killed maybe seemed a little bit less bot-like than normal. I'm not really sure. It's just one game, but there are also the killer AI on Haven, which are kind of a different bag, and I'll talk about in the video later this week. Care package smoke is now going to be red on all colorblind settings due to a feature coming in a later update. I'm kind of interested to see what that is. And then the other big thing that I think a lot of people will be pleased with is an item spawn rebalance on Erangel and also on Miramar in normal games. The long and short of it is it's quite a big loot buff to both of those maps, particularly for ARs, for snipers, for grips, for scopes. We see sniper rifles increased by 145% on Erangel, scopes increased by 75%. Some things get decreased, it says, but keep in mind, like we got handguns decreased by 48%, shotguns decreased by 27%, heal items and throwables decreased by 13%, but because the way loot works in PUBG, there's kind of a total amount of loot, and so the ratios of things switch. So if there's loads of less handguns and just a little bit less percent of heal items, it might not actually reduce the amount of heal items you find on the map. So that reduction on spawn rate for heals is probably just to keep things consistent rather than actually reducing the number. It's kind of confusing, but if you've played around with custom game settings, you'll kind of get an idea of what I mean. But going to be interesting to try out Erangel and Miramar and see how the loot feels. Personally, I didn't really feel Erangel loot needed changing. I was very happy with Erangel loot. I've not really struggled to find guns that I mind using on Erangel, but I don't mind having a bit of a buff to it. I hope it doesn't make it too silly. You know, I don't need to have a barrel and a canine within 10 seconds on every single game. So we'll see how that feels. Miramar, though, definitely needed a loot buff. It's one of my pet hates. It's so bad for loot. So that's great to see. Snipers increased by 317% on Miramar, and big buffs to AR, DMR, grips, scopes, etc., etc. So again, going to be interesting to see how that feels. And if the loot on Miramar is good, then I think I'm going to enjoy playing that map a lot more. It's been badly in need of it for such a long time, and we've finally got it. Moving on from there, there's some information on the Survivor Pass. You can see some of that on screen now. This is the Punk Wave Survivor Pass. You're going to be able to buy that for about 900 something G-Coin. You can also buy it for about 3,000 G-Coin, and you get some bonus levels with that. You can then work through the Survivor Pass by just playing normal games of PUBG. You get XP for doing stuff, and then you will level up the pass and unlock various cosmetic items, as well as G-Coin and other things along the way. There's a few little UX, UI, performance, and bug fix things here I won't go through in detail. We've got some PUBG 5th anniversary stuff. That's going to be more information on that coming up soon, so I'm sure there'll be some sort of special event for that, maybe some sort of drops. And that is about everything for the update. Definitely some interesting stuff in there. I'm looking forward to playing around with the new tactical gear in real games. Tac Pack does feel like it's going to be pretty OP on PC particularly, and you know, maybe on console, but I'll have to wait till I've played around with it in a proper game situation before we really know. Really looking forward to trying out the aim and the sound training on console with a controller to try and improve my aim, and really looking forward to trying out Miramar as well with the buff loot. Let me know in the comments down below what you're looking forward to in this patch, or maybe what you're disappointed to not see in this update. And if you'd like to support the channel, then a great way to do that is by adding our PUBG creator code, which you can do by going to accounts.crafton.com or accounts.pubg.com and linking it via the creator appreciation tab. I'll put a little promo at the end of this video that just tells you how to do it. It's very simple. You only have to do it once, and it does help us out a lot. So thanks very much for everybody who's already done that. Over 1,000 people have added our creator code to their accounts, which is absolutely mad. So that's everything for today. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you have a fantastic day. My name's Ben. We are the Beard Guys, and I'll see you next time. I just wanted to drop you all a quick message to tell you about our PUBG creator code. As a PUBG partner, we have a creator code which you can add to your account, which means whenever you purchase anything in game, PUBG will give us a commission. Whether you're buying season passes, G-Coin bundles, or anything else that requires cash in PUBG, if you have our code added, then you'll be helping us out without costing yourself a penny extra. It's a great way to support the channel, and it really does help keep us making PUBG content for you. Plus, it's easy to set up, and you'll only ever have to do it once. To add our code, first visit accounts.pubg.com and then log in in or create an account. Once you've logged in, connect your Xbox, PlayStation or Steam account on the linked accounts tab, then go to the Creator Appreciation Program section and type the Beard Guys into the box or find us from the drop-down list. Then just click submit and you're all done. A massive thank you to everybody who has used our code. Your support is absolutely vital for us and it really makes a huge difference.